Good morning, or sorry, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tom Sun, the chairperson for the Associate Mentorship Committee for the Southern California PGA section. I'd like to welcome all of you to today's LaunchPad. Today is actually the last LaunchPad of this series. We will again launch another LaunchPad in the second half of 2022. So on behalf of the Education Committee of SCPGA, on behalf of John Kulo, who's not able to make it today, I, Tom Sun, would like to welcome everyone to our LaunchPad relating to tournament operations. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today, Mr. Anthony Valverde from La Jolla Country Club. If I may, I just want to give a quick introduction of Anthony. Anthony was a 18 handicap 3 months prior to his PAT, before passing his PAT. So that's an incredible feat there. He was a tournament sponsor, relations manager for SPGA, tournament director, executive director for Aloha Section PGA, assistant golf professional at Turtle Bay Resort in Hawaii, first assistant at TPC Stonebray, PGA member since August 2021. Currently, he's the outside supervisor for La Jolla Country Club. Recently married to Julie, December 2021. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And recently won the San Diego chapter annual meeting team event. So, and also Anthony is the creative director of the Road to Pro program we started in San Diego chapter. I'm sure you could discuss as well during his presentation. So without further ado, Anthony, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Tom. And congratulations to you again on your Golf Professional of the Year.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So again, to echo a little bit what Tom said, I'm currently the outside operations supervisor at La Jolla Country Club. And the timing of this was great because we just had our spring member guest, 3-day event, and it was 5 9-hole matches with a derby after, and we had 8 flight winners, and great time. You know, tournaments are such a big component to any operation, and so I'm excited to be here doing that today. Like Tom said, again, been a member since August of last year. Was actually my second stint of going through the program, so you know, it's why I'm looking to help. You'll get my contact information here at the end, no matter where you're at in your levels. I know we're covering tournament ops today, but I want to be a valuable resource to you going forward. You know, again, worked, a lot of tournament history with the Southern California PGA, the Aloha Section PGA, Turtle Bay Resort, hosted Hawaii State Open, TPC Stonebray. We hosted the Ellie Mae for the Corn Ferry, and a lot of great high-end events at La Jolla Country Club currently. Hopefully these 4 things look familiar to you guys. This is straight out of the manual. It's what we'll be covering today. 4 real big areas that, as long as we have these things in order, we're going to have a successful event. So it's how to plan and prepare, running the tournament on the day of, your conditions of play and your rules we need to have, and review and evaluate. I think the first, plan and prepare, and then the last, review and evaluate, are 2 really important components to, just continue to make a better experience for our members and guests, or your customers. All right, next slide will go. I liked, I'm not sure if it was Tom Addis that taught me this, 7 P's of success. Forgive me, but prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I hope if you haven't heard that, write it down. I just think, again, we're so busy with everything that we're involved in, and I just really love the 7 P's of success. I use it for on a lot of things that I do, and preparation is key. So I just wanted to share that real quick before we get into some more good stuff here. 7 P's, write it down. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. That's what we're going
Anthony,
for. Yes, sir.
if I start to interrupt, but we learned that in the Army. That was the first thing we learned in the Army. One of the first things I still remember from 30 years ago. 7 P's. It's always it always make sure everything goes well if you do it right.
Yes, exactly. All right. So planning, you got to have, starting with checklists. If you don't have a nice checklist, start to create your own for your facility. You can start to add value immediately with just an ongoing checklist as it just accrues year after year after year, just adding stuff. And in that checklist, you're covering things that are 90 days out. What do we have to get done? Contracts signed, securing the dates, securing the rooms for food and beverage, and a lot that goes in on the 90-day, and then everything leading up to the 30-day, your week of, and day of. So checklists are just imperative, to stay organized, stay on a calendar, especially with the way the industry is now, and the turnaround time of getting product. I think it's really important that, maybe it's even outside 90 days that you're starting this planning process. But I just wanted to share that as an example. Your staffing, I like to highlight our calendar and blackout dates for our staff on when they, cannot have a, scheduled shift request off. And, I like to think all hands on deck for all of our events, the service to provide that we're looking for, and quality, and, you got to have the resources and the manpower to do it. So that's a big one. I put down here your vendors to utilize. I think I've seen it in my past, where we're not getting ahead of the conversation with these tournament organizers of, they might be providing their own hats and their own shirts that maybe aren't as good as a quality that you can currently use with your current vendors in your golf shops. And it's just another way to say thank you to your vendors, that you're going to throw them a 144 player tee prize, which just goes a long way for making you stand out at your facility. Another example I like to try to do, if we're saying like a shirt, if we're going to do a shirt for the participants, I want to make sure that I order 10 extra for my staff, that we're wearing those shirts the day of. It's this ongoing piece for the staff to to help their morale, and where do they get the shirt? They're talking about the tournament. So it's just a constant revolving communication about your facility. And it's just one small example about making sure we use our vendors and how we can plan for your tournaments, and spreading, if you have 10 different vendors you're using, and you're sure you have 10 tournaments with tee prizes, that, we're reaching out ahead to try to plan something unique, pop-up shop at your facility or whatever the tee prize may be. Planning on the course prep, there's from your golf course setup, is there marking required? Who's doing the marking? I definitely recommend on some holes shortening your holes just to help with some pace of play. I think it's try to make a more drivable par 4 here and there, and just to keep play again moving along. What else do I have for the course prep? Course marking, just make sure it's you guys do have things defined. It definitely helps with the speed of play, pace of play there, and not to be overlooked, and just making sure we're communicating with your superintendent and your whole locations and all that good stuff. Publicity and marketing, got to have it. Pretty straightforward. We all know how important it is to be setting the dates and times, and when we're going to start taking signups, where to sign up, social media stuff. Your player count, I just like to push maybe an aggressive 7-day deadline, I think, to your members or your customers, whoever's organizing the event. You know, getting the player count ahead of time, 7 days, just makes a very smooth. It'll avoid a lot of your questions. For instance, if you have a Monday tournament and you're waiting to the Friday, I'm sure you're going to be getting questions from, you know, all that week leading up, which, you know, we want to try to avoid all those extra phone calls in the shop that we already get. So trying to push that deadline as far as you're always going to get changes the day of, you know, that's going without saying. But I think it really helps being upfront with having a 7-day deadline prior to the event. Really will make your week nice and smooth. So that's what I have for the planning. Running the event. You know, this is you put all the work, you started 90 days out. You know, it's a time to show off, have fun. So your little mini Super Bowl for the day and throwing a big party. Golf Genius, you got to make sure if you're not using it, you know, it's becoming the leader, if not the leader. I know Blue Golf was being used for a lot of events on the Southern California section side and so forth, but Golf Genius is amazing. You know, really hope you guys are getting access to that and just doing it yourself. If someone else is inputting the event, you know, try to make sure you're making it aware that you're interested in running the admin side of the event. So yeah, Golf Genius is great. Cart staging, just wanted to highlight that. You know, it's so important to how the carts exit the facility, you know, how visible they are. Is the routing clear? You know, I just recently at my facility, we didn't have cart toppers, so made a really big difference on being able to point our guest to the right direction for their starting holes. Well, those cart toppers, $300 or $400 for the set for your A and B groups, 1 through 18, and it goes a long way with your presentation and again, avoiding questions the day of where to go, where's my cart. The registration, I just seen too many kind of accidents, if you will, of having a registration kind of near your bag drop. Highly avoid that at all costs. I'd like to be able to, you know, have a smooth flow of if there's a bag drop and then the guests or your customers walk into a different area for the registration, just allows for no backup, no long lines. So make sure the registration is well staffed and separate from your bag drop. On-course contest, you know, that's something we got to make sure you're just familiar with your golf course, and you're communicating with your customer of, you know, where the right places are for these contests. You know, making sure we have all the right supplies that we need to make a nice contest. Putting contests are always fun, and, you know, I encourage you guys to dress it up, to make it different, make it fun. Again, the whole day is trying to create this experience where you're going to maybe draw a customer back if they haven't played the facility before, and contest and the prizes are a great way to do that. On course, you know, I think we got to make sure we know what time our staffing, to kind of go back to that, what time your arrival is. So important that you guys are ahead of the game. You know, if it's a 11 o'clock shotgun at the very latest, you know, you're on property at 7 a.m. I think 4 hours is a tight window. I'd probably even shy more towards 5-hour arrival. You're always going to get that guy that or girl that's there 2 hours before the tee off time, shotgun starts, because he's pumped. It's spring, first round of his year, his or her year. So I just, you know, I'd rather be waiting, have everything done, all your course, your food and beverage set up, your tents, your signage. You know, there's a lot that goes on, and I just want to highlight, make sure that somewhere in that 4 to 5 hour window that you're telling your staff to be there. Volunteers, I think it's something that's important, that they're tough to get. There's so much help when you do. And I think it's just important that you're asking for those volunteers in advance, organizing their duties, having a point person for those volunteers in the day of, making sure we have golf carts for those volunteers. And yeah, they're a really big help if you have them for running the event. Conditions of play, a lot of the stuff for this level 1 and completing tournament ops is you're just getting copies, and submitting, all your hole locations, your pairings, your payouts. Hopefully you're providing those payouts too in advance to your participants. It's always nice to know. I know it seems like when there are times when we do miss it, and it's definitely one of the questions when you have flights that you're getting asked. They want to know what's in it for me, of course. So have those ready to go. A nice scoreboard. You can even have your scoreboard. You could even have all of these located as a one kind of grand central station, if you will, where they can find all the information for the event in the day. You can put, your lunch menus on there, something to mix it up. And obviously you're going to have these handouts. Most of the time competitors are not reading them, but it's always good to make sure we have all this collateral for the participants and scorecards. All of these are an opportunity too. I just want to make sure we're putting the right logos, make sure it's just not a black and white piece of paper with these things on your whole locations, where you can have your charity logo, have your own facility logo, whatever the sponsor logos are. These are all opportunities to give back to those sponsors. And I think that's really important for you guys. Again, I think we've talked about, obviously the planning was important, getting down to the end of the event, sending your results to your media. If you don't have a media list, start to build one. Contact your newspapers, get your list, to your membership, and build on it. Keep it ongoing. It's a Rolodex. That's really nice to have a recap like that for all of your events, and getting your facility out there in print one more time is always a great thing. A lot of recaps, one with your client, really important, ongoing, that relationship, communication building. It shouldn't be just at the end of the tournament and not hearing from them again, or not reaching out until the following year and talking about it. It should, that right after the event is the most important time, while everything's fresh in both you and your clients' minds. So recap with the staff, find out from them what kind of questions, what kind of feedback. We're always trying to go for that perfect event. It's tough. Sometimes the things that you see on the admin side that, the player doesn't see. So we're always striving for that. And I think you get a lot of good info from the staff. So important to include them. Again, all of these items that we've talked about, this is straight out of your syllabus. So hopefully that looks familiar to you as you go through this. And again, if you need any help with getting these items or creating these items, I'm definitely available. You're going to want to have a P&L statement to any event. We got to make sure we're making money. Make sure that you're budgeting and reviewing that budget as you're getting closer to the event, and your employers and your owners are definitely wanting to see where we can make those margins a little bigger. So important to have that. You need to have that included for your submission. Tournament participant feedback, that's your go-to. Hopefully you have, the food is on point. They have enough beverages to keep them satisfied. Usually you're going to get a lot of good feedback, but you're always trying to find that one or two, criticism's okay. You're welcome to open that line of communication with your participants to get some, that's the greatest potential for growth, is hearing some of those things that we can do better. Rebooking, hopefully it's a handshake and it's a home run, but make sure that you're asking, or, if it wasn't an event that didn't fit your facility, then maybe it's not. But hopefully all goes well, and you're looking to rebook as soon as possible, earlier the better, to secure those dates and start building out that calendar year. And yeah, so that's hopefully that's the best part that's the biggest compliment to yourself, to your team, of having that tournament back, growing it better next year, and even trying to build up that prize package to get that player entry up, and ultimately helping your facility make some more money. Tournaments are such a big part of the operation, and they're so much fun to run. And I highly encourage you as well. We run so many events that, making sure that you're also playing in events. I think you'll learn a lot in traveling to different facilities, keeping some, new, fresh ideas. And the only way I really think is actually dusting off your clubs and playing some. It's great interaction, and we're such a great fraternity and sorority, and we need to interact and engage as much as possible. So I highly encourage you to participate in your section on the tournaments. The more you play, I think the more you'll have a well-rounded background in operating tournaments. I think that's all I had for our 4 main topics in here. Excuse me. So my contact information, my email, PGA Valverde @gmail. My cell phone here, 808-250-0564. And I'm definitely trying to promote my Instagram here at Birdie. Appreciate a follow. I'm going to do my best to put some new content out going forward, and stuff that, we can all have fun doing, and, grow your own brand. So that's what I think we're all looking to do at our own facilities, and every day just continue to ask yourself of how we can do better. And, we're lucky to do what we do, and I'll take any questions at this time.
Thank you so much, Anthony. That was a very succinct but very valid and informational presentation. Any questions from Christian or from Peter? Christian, Peter, thanks for joining the call. Appreciate you guys taking the time to join us today. Any questions from you guys or comments?
I came in a little bit late.
Yeah, I saw that.
But P&L statements would be for me. Yes, we have a tournament director. It's basically food and beverage tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably have to go to them to get that.
Yes. Yeah. If it sounds like you don't have your hands on it, I guarantee you one of the two.
I just set up the tournament, set up everything, Golf Genius, all of that, card setup. I don't have anything to do with. They set everything up on their own system, because we were Indigo and now we're Indigo True.
Gotcha.
So their setup is totally different now.
Yeah, the level 1, I mean, they're not really asking you to, fully, have your hands on all this stuff. A lot of times, it's already done and created for you. So, I encourage you to reach out to your food and beverage director, your director of golf, for your next event, to be more involved, and that you're interested to see that process. But asking them, for a previous event for that statement is no problem.
Okay.
Any other questions from you guys? Question or comments? Peter, anything from you? I have a question, Anthony, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I know tournaments are, we covered it just now, but just I want to ask you a bigger question in terms of you said you were in and you came back for the second time. What was the impetus for you to come back and become a member?
Yeah, great question. You know, I was in Hawaii at the time, and I just, you know, it was a tough travel from Hawaii to Florida. But you know, the more I don't want to create all these excuses, but I did find them. My employer wasn't, you know, really pushing me to get it done. He was allowing me to kind of teach and do everything else as if I was a PGA member. So that didn't help my motivation by any means. I ended up moving back and from Hawaii to the mainland. And I had, you know, expired my full time. It took more than 8 years, and I had to restart the whole program. And then once that happened, when I restarted, I was like, I'm going to finish this as fast as I can. And I did it in about 2.5 years. But it was so important to me. You know, I made a promise to my previous employers, Tom Addis being one of them, that I was going to get it done. And just, you know, there's just so much opportunity now, now that I'm a PGA member, and I'm so glad that it's done. I know level one, you kind of feel like you're at the beginning of it, and you're looking at the thing as a whole, and it could be a daunting task for sure. You know, one of my Hal Akita was my employer when I was originally with the Aloha section. He asked me how to eat an elephant, and I was thrown off by the question, of course, and he just said, one bite at a time. And you know, like when you look at that level one stuff, I get it. You're like, oh, I don't know where to start. There's so many activities, and you know, this tournament operations should be one of the faster activities that you have to complete. You know, there's 4 subjects they're looking for. You're really just uploading a lot of the documents that's already printed. You know, just even putting just little sentences here and there down just to jot some things down to get the mind going and just dig in and do it. You know, if you can commit to 30 minutes and a week even is enough. It's better than nothing, because I know how quickly a month or 2 can go by and you haven't opened up the book and logged in, and I've done it. And I'm here again in my contact information. I want to be, you know, that mentor to you guys and all of the subjects. And but yeah, I mean, it was so important to finish my PGA for me to, you know, be in the eyes of my employer as a leader, and have that badge is so important. And you know, with that PGA, you know, if it doesn't encourage you to get those stripes, and hopefully there's a little raise at the end of the tunnel there too. Keep in mind when you finish your PGA. But yeah, I mean, it's so rewarding that it's done. I'm so happy and proud to be a member of the PGA of America.
Now, Anthony, congratulations again. Now it's been 8 months since you became a PGA member. For those associates on this call or listening in a future recording, what is it? How do you feel about it? What's the best benefit from it?
You know, I think it's by far is your networking with your other professionals. You know, we're so lucky here in San Diego that in our year-round ability to play and connect, you know, it's priceless. You know, creating that bond with your fellow coworkers and associates, and it's just lifelong relationships that we're looking to build. And you know, playing these tournaments, going these meetings, and reaching out, and you know, getting creative on your days off of how to utilize that time. And you know, whether it be kind of coordinating something with your own staff and play days. You know, Tom just took his staff last minute to the Masters, and you know, we try to have competitions with our staff to, you know, on our Monday play days that we have. And just that overall growth from the connection, and just all having a like-minded goal of, you know, how can we help this game get easier for everyone and more enjoyable. And that's kind of where my passion is right now in growing the game and being available. And as a mentor, I want to make sure. When I was going through the program, I was hesitant and making that phone call and not sounding incompetent, but that's only delaying your progress. So don't ever be afraid of reaching out with those questions. Don't let anything stop you from getting what you want to get done, and that's getting your level 1, then getting your level 2, and you're home free once you're done with level 2.
I'm kind of in that same situation right now.
What's that?
I'm on my 8th year right now, but I think because of COVID, they extended it a year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I would say 75% finished with the portfolio already.
Okay.
So you're right. It's chipping away and you don't realize how much you're actually getting through it.
Right.
And then you look and you're like, well, I'm actually going by this faster than I thought.
Exactly. Well, Christian, definitely, I hope you're writing down my contact information. This will obviously be available on YouTube later. But please do not hesitate to, give me a call, shoot me a text.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I already sent you a request on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Where are you at?
I'm actually in Arizona.
Okay.
Northern Arizona. Well, I'm saying the middle of Arizona in Prescott.
Nice. Hot out there?
It was supposed to actually cool down to like 50 tomorrow, but it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds.
Wow.
So tomorrow, I think it's supposed to drop to like 50, 30 low, and then back to 70s again.
So what do you, 75% done? What do you have left?
I have the teaching, the tournaments, and I think I have to do the rules of golf, that video, and then I'm done.
Nice.
I think I have like two sections left on the rest of the business planning. I think I have that left too.
All right. Well, as again, you're sniffing the finish line there on level 1, and that accomplishment, you'll start to get addicted to that completing feeling, of conquering something that you've been spent 8 years, and it's you're so close to powering through this. So
yeah, and that was with me just taking time off too. I wasn't even in the business for a few years.
Right.
I actually left and was working for the post office in Massachusetts.
Gotcha. Tom, are you seeing this question from Peter? I just noticed.
Yeah, I saw the question from Peter. I know maybe he's working right now, so
Yeah.
maybe he's not able to speak. But this is a typical question from a level 1 associate these days. And I wasn't, well, it's, you were an associate last year, Anthony, but I was an associate 2.5 years ago, level 2.0 PGM. And I completely agree with you in what you said, Anthony, in terms of chipping away every day. Every day may be challenging realistically, but what I tell associates consistently, what I did when I was an associate, and it took me 2 years to get it done, is you really have to, I know it's challenging. You got, personal issues, professional issues. There's a lot of challenges along the way, but if you really want to put your PGA next to your name and become a member, like Anthony did after, hiatus away from the industry or away from being a PGA member or associate, and coming back like Christian has, and he's almost there, 75% done. You gotta focus every week on it. You gotta spend an hour, 2 hours every week, and it becomes a habit. So every day, every certain time of the day, you're just automatically going to open up your laptop and start working on your portfolio. That's the consistency that you need, so you don't lose focus. And if you could just, I know it's going to take weeks and maybe months and maybe even years to get the level 1 done, but if you just focus on it every week, I really believe that you'll make progress. And And as Anthony alluded to, it's getting that level 1 done. And you get the level 1 done, you'll get more confident, and you'll become more smarter about getting the portfolio done in a more efficient manner. And the level 2 will be done. And the next thing you know, level 3, and you're almost there. So you're gonna crawl on scratch and get that level 3 done. And next thing you know, you're a member, and all these great things are happening to you and your professional career. Because as Anthony mentioned, networking. There's so many great PGA professionals, members, and you want to be part of that. And that you become part of that, then it really allows you to not only to perform up to your potential, but outperform your potential. And that's what we all want to be, right? We want to outperform the potential. So I know it's challenging, Peter. I know you're working right now, Peter, but just every week spend that 1 hour, that certain day, certain time, and I promise you'll see the end of that level 1 in due time.
And I think it's important too, as you get hung up on some things, or you don't have access to a form, or don't let that stop you from going to a different section and, knocking out a couple more things that you can have, like instead of just picking one section, almost just to breathe through it, the entire portfolio, and as an looking at and just picking things that you feel motivated to do at that day. It's going to change, if it's the teaching side of it or the tournament side of it, and when you're waiting for a tournament to run, that, don't let that section or a question that you have new contacts, and Tom and myself, and chip away at another part is my biggest thing. If you find like you get on a speed bump, there's definitely always something else, part of that portfolio, you can knock out.
That's great. That's great feedback, guys. And Peter and Christian, you guys are busy, and we get it. We have resources here. So if you get stuck on a section, obviously we've done LaunchPad 4 times now. So there should be 4 different videos of the same material, same section available. But if that doesn't help, or you don't have time to look at 50, 45-minute videos, just contact me or Anthony. We have a lot of resources within our section to allow you to be connected with a recent a graduate of level 1, level 2, level 3. So that person is very familiar with the content and be able to help you in a very, very efficient, effective manner. So, as Anthony said, I completely agree with him. Don't be afraid to reach, connect. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask that question. Don't be afraid to send that email. Don't be afraid to make that phone call. Don't be afraid. We're here for you. That's why we're doing this. So I know it's tough, but we're here for you. So just reach out and trust me, you'll never regret that decision. So
a lot of times I know on these activities, they're the PGA that's evaluating these things. They don't want long answers.
No.
They want some, all right, the material, put it down, make sure we have some good grammar in there and a couple of good sentences, and move on. It doesn't need to be this.
No.
You shouldn't be taking an hour to complete, half of a section or one section. And some sections are a little bit longer. I get it, but make sure. I'm not trying to say do the bare minimum, but there is a lot of work, and if you're trying to just fluff up your answers, you're wasting your time. We got to just get to the point and move on. So I really think that's a big time saver, just making sure you're short and to the point, and you don't need a lengthy answer to seem like the right answer.
I completely agree, and that's what I mean by level 2, level 3. You understand better, and
yeah, for sure,
to answer this question succinctly, concisely, so you don't have to waste so much time on it. Anthony, you mentioned about you wanting to be a mentor and serve our professionals, and and within the same day chapter you come up with this great idea, the Road to Pro. Can you just quickly explain what that program's all about?
Yeah, thank you, Tom. We just had our first one at your facility at Arrowwood. Huge success. Basically, the idea was to have just this social, fun, get together with people from your facility. So, like at La Jolla, we had 6 of us attend, I believe. And we had representatives from our food and beverage team, from our outside staff and our inside staff. Really, I wanted to connect, all our departments via round of golf. And it makes for a better workplace, I think, to be able to, as my team, especially when we came back from the first event, Tom, like we were so pumped, we couldn't wait for the next one. And the guys, I loved what you did. And I think you had a PGA professional with one group, that we had. And so there's associates in there. And, like my food and beverage director, he's considering, pursuing the path. And I think that's awesome if we can shed light, and that's only going to add to his value at his facility, wherever he goes. If he wants to have a food and beverage background and a PGA background, it's really setting you up for that kind of general manager position. But really, that was kind of the premise of it, was connecting all the departments in a friendly social round of golf. And, um, you know, we have programs that are already set for current associates. And I think this program is to really draw, those new ones that are kind of on the fence into the program. So we look forward to going, like you said, our next event's May 9th at is the Grand
Del Mar. Grand Del Mar.
Grand Del Mar. Thank you. We just, luckily the facility at Arrowwood has done such a great job that we were able to, play it, have a great round of golf. And then with their flight deck that's been installed, which is amazing. If you guys are in the area in Oceanside and check that out, it's definitely a home run. And how to have more, customers at your facility for in the evening. And just a phenomenal time. And that's what I enjoy doing, is connecting, introducing, however, if it's, the more we can get people in the food and beverage side, or even your golf course maintenance side, playing more golf, I just think it's better for our game. It's better, it's more rewarding, for us as individuals. And we're the experts, and we're trying to pass on all that we have to help everyone else enjoy this fun yet difficult game.
Yeah, I think, thank you. That was a great idea that you laid out for us, and we got a first event done here recently, and 2 things that I think are, in my mind, are very critical for PGA. One is recruitment, and 2 is retention. And I think currently we have in the SCPGA section of the mentorship program, the LaunchPad that we're doing now, the monthly town hall, educational town hall, we do it once a month, are all about retention. We want to keep the good young professionals in the PGA world. And what we're doing with the Road to Pro is the first step, which is recruitment. We want to expose the non-PGA professionals to the PGA professionals, so they are motivated, incentivized, and desire to be a PGA professional themselves. So I think something that's we create a great event idea, and we're going to run with it once every 2 months, and hopefully we can recruit more non-PGA professionals to being a PGA professional. So just want to throw that out there just to let you guys know about that. I know it's been 15 minutes or so now, so any other questions or comments before we conclude? I know you guys are busy. We thank Peter and Christian for joining today, especially Peter while he's working. That's great. Any last minute questions or comments before we close the call? No, if not, again, on behalf of the SPGA Education Committee, on behalf of John Kulo, the chairperson of the Education Committee, I'd like to thank not only today with Anthony, but all the attendees on these LaunchPads for the last 8 weeks. This is the fourth time doing it, fourth time doing 8 consecutive weeks of LaunchPad. It's been, I think it's getting better and better with more participation. And I really believe that hopefully these LaunchPad presentations are making a positive impact to progress of level 1 portfolios of a lot of associates, not only in the SCPGA section, but all the sections involved in the LaunchPad. So again, thank you everyone today. Thank you everyone who were present in the last 8 weeks, the instructors as well as attendees. And we look forward to continued progress on your portfolio, level 1 portfolios. We look forward to hearing that you pass level 1 portfolio in the near future. And as I said in the beginning of the call, we will continue with another series of LaunchPad in the second half of 2022. And also be reminded that all the LaunchPads have been recorded. They're available on YouTube as well as on SCPGA Education page. So please access it whenever you can. And again, thank you so much for your time. And again, let us know if you need anything from us. We're here to help you. Thank you.
Hope to hear from you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Anthony.
Okay.